The world watched as a high-stakes prisoner exchange unfolded. Russia released individuals held captive. Among them was Vladimir Kara-Murza. Kara-Murza is a Russian journalist and a fierce critic of the Kremlin. He had been imprisoned in Russia since 2022. His release was part of a carefully negotiated deal. The exchange also secured the freedom of Evan Gershkovich. Gershkovich is a Wall Street Journal reporter. Paul Whelan, a former U.S. Marine, was also released. The prisoner exchange marked a rare moment of cooperation. Russia and Western nations found common ground. This was despite the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Tensions remain high between these global powers. The release of Kara-Murza, Gershkovich, and Whelan brought a wave of relief. It also sparked cautious optimism. Could this be a step toward diplomacy? The exchange has ignited debate about the future. What does it mean for relations between Russia and the West? Some see a path to dialogue. Others remain skeptical of Russia's intentions. The implications are far-reaching. Vladimir Kara-Murza is a man of unwavering conviction. He is a Russian journalist and political activist. Kara-Murza is known for his bold criticism of the Russian government. He has been a particularly vocal opponent of President Vladimir Putin. Born in Russia, Kara-Murza holds dual citizenship. He is also a British citizen. This has allowed him to work internationally. Kara-Murza has written extensively for the Washington Post. His columns provide a window into Russian politics. He has been a constant voice, reporting on the war in Ukraine. Kara-Murza's critiques have come at a steep personal price. He has faced numerous threats and arrests. He has even been poisoned, attacks he attributes to his activism. Despite the risks, Kara-Murza has never backed down. He remains a staunch advocate for democracy. He continues to fight for human rights in Russia. His courage has made him a symbol of resistance. He has earned the respect of human rights organizations worldwide. Vladimir Kara-Murza has been a leading voice against the war in Ukraine. He has condemned the invasion from the outset. He has spoken out against the devastating consequences of the conflict. Using his platform, he has tirelessly raised awareness about the war. Kara-Murza has challenged the Kremlin's narrative. He has called for peace and diplomacy. His outspoken opposition to the war led to his arrest in April 2022. He was accused of spreading false information about the Russian military. Kara-Murza vehemently denies these charges. His detention triggered international outrage. Human rights groups and Western governments demanded his release. Kara-Murza's case became a lightning rod. It exposed the crackdown on dissent within Russia. It highlighted the Kremlin's efforts to silence opposition to the war in Ukraine. His imprisonment became a symbol of the escalating repression. Kara-Murza's imprisonment was not his first brush with danger. He had challenged the Russian government before. He knew the risks. In 2015, he was the target of a suspected poisoning attempt. He barely survived. The attack left him with serious health problems. 2 years later, in 2017, he was poisoned again. These attacks are widely believed to be the work of the Russian government. They were retaliation for his activism. The message was clear: silence your criticism or face the consequences. Despite the threats to his life, Kara-Murza refused to be intimidated. He continued to speak out against injustice. He knew the stakes were high. His resilience is remarkable. He has stared down death and continued to fight for freedom. His determination has made him an inspiration. He embodies the courage of those who challenge authoritarianism. He is a beacon of hope for a better future for Russia. Section 5. The intricate dance of prisoner swaps. Prisoner exchanges are delicate operations. They involve high-level negotiations. Governments must weigh the risks and benefits. These swaps often involve individuals of significant interest. This was certainly the case with Vladimir Kara-Murza. The negotiations for his release were undoubtedly complex. The discussions were shrouded in secrecy. It is likely that concessions were made on both sides. Prisoner swaps are a reminder of the human cost of political conflicts. They also highlight the potential for diplomacy. Even in the midst of adversarial relationships, common ground can be found. The release of Kara-Murza, Gershkovich, and Whelan is a testament to this. It shows that even in the darkest of times, hope remains. The exchange could pave the way for future cooperation. It could be a step towards de-escalation. Only time will tell what the long-term impact will be. Section 6. Decoding Putin's endgame. The decision to release Vladimir Kara-Murza raises questions. What motivated Vladimir Putin to agree to the exchange? Was it a genuine gesture of goodwill, or was it a calculated move? Putin is a master strategist. His actions are often shrouded in mystery. Some analysts believe that Putin was feeling the pressure. International condemnation of Kara-Murza's imprisonment was growing. The sanctions imposed on Russia were also taking a toll. Releasing Kara-Murza could be a way to alleviate some of this pressure. Others speculate that Putin may have had ulterior motives. The exchange could be part of a larger game. Perhaps he is trying to drive a wedge between Western nations, or maybe he's trying to buy time. Whatever his reasons, Putin remains a formidable player on the world stage. Section 7. A global chorus for freedom. The imprisonment of Vladimir Kara-Murza sparked outrage. People around the world rallied to his cause. Human rights organizations condemned his arrest. They demanded his immediate release. Amnesty International called him a prisoner of conscience. Politicians from Europe and North America echoed these calls. They accused the Kremlin of trying to silence dissent. The United States imposed sanctions on Russian officials. These sanctions were a direct response to Kara-Murza's detention. The international community recognized the injustice of his imprisonment. His case became a symbol of the global struggle for freedom. His release is a victory for human rights. It is a reminder that the world is watching. Section 8. The unfinished battle for democracy. The release of Vladimir Kara-Murza is a cause for celebration, but it is important to remember that the fight for democracy in Russia is far from over. Many other political prisoners remain behind bars. They too deserve the world's attention. Alexei Navalny, a prominent opposition leader, is serving a lengthy prison sentence. He was poisoned in 2020 in an attack that was widely blamed on the Kremlin. His organization has been outlawed. His supporters have been harassed and intimidated. The space for dissent in Russia is shrinking. The Kremlin continues to crack down on independent media. Journalists and activists are being targeted. The future of democracy in Russia hangs in the balance. The international community must continue to support those who are fighting for freedom.